Welcome back to Sunbaked Crystal Palace, the National Sports Centre, as we get ready for our first of two gold medal games here in the Malory Women's Super League. We have Malory Eagles UEL taking on the Essex Rebels. These two have got a much historied, friendly, mostly, rivalry. And we'll have a chance to battle it out for the overall prize. Michael Hunter-Morris joined once again by Jess Smith. And Jess, these two teams always in a battle, no matter if it's men or the women. And both these teams in the women's final, this is one that could go either way.
Oh yeah, definitely. Really looking forward to what's going to happen today between these two teams, because like you said, it can go either way. We're looking forward to seeing some really great performances. Essex Rebels yesterday coming in with that reverse sweep. Malory Eagles taking theirs in straight sets yesterday. We've got both teams now dancing. Everybody trying to get in.
Malory can't dance in the middle of a photo, but we know they are keen for a dance.
Oh, yes.
As we are waiting on Leland Grand.
I do love that from Carol, rubbing off on everybody within the volleyball community.
Playing the Malory song in the middle of photos, that's cruel.
That is cruel.
Get your thoughts and predictions in the live stream comments. We'll have a look at them building up to this gold medal match. We've got a couple of early votes in for the Rebels. But Jess, obviously, we need to talk about how we got here. And that were the semi-finals yesterday morning and early afternoon. Malory, fairly convincingly, 3-0 against Lionhearts Vilnius. 25-21, 25-17 and 25-14. The MVP, Chloe Allen. And as for the Rebels, reverse sweeping team side out, who claimed the bronze earlier today over Lionhearts in a 5-set thriller. Essex dropped the first two, 25-20, 25-14. And then on the reverse sweep, 18-25, 20-25 and 13-15. The MVP of the game, Alexis Diaz Infante. And Jess, we'll start with the number one seeds, rightly so, the Malory Eagles. Just one loss on the season. That came to side out in January, 3-0. National Cup final, Final Four. It's a team that have almost been the nearly team in recent years. Haven't quite got over the line. Made the final. What do you expect to see this afternoon from them?
Today, I am expecting to see the fire. They have done a lot of work over the season to prepare themselves for this day. They've made it all the way to the gold medal match, and all they have to do now is keep playing at the pace that they have been playing at recently to take it home.
Yeah, and obviously talked about the one loss and a lot of experience back from the team that beat Essex in the bronze medal game last year. And Jess, I think it was me and you on the call for that one. I remember 12 months ago, and that itself was a crazy one. Another reverse sweep, this time for Malory. Essex winning the first two sets, 23-25, 15-25, but Malory came back 25-21, 25-13, 15-10 to win the bronze medal. And we know both teams remember a little bit about that game. So how much do you think Malory's confidence of beating Essex? They're 7-0 since Alex Chinnery took over the Rebels. How much do you think that's going to play into their ability to come out and be aggressive early in this game?
I think they're always going to be aggressive regardless of who the opponent is. But, you know, I'm just going to think back as well to what Carol said in the pre-weekend interview, where she's talking about for every single match that they're preparing for, they are preparing as though there is no favorite. They're preparing for every eventuality. They're getting themselves into the right mindset to put their best players on the court, do the best things that they can do, and they have such a depth of squad. They have so many options to change basically every aspect of their team as things go on. They've got backup setters, backup middles, outsides.
You were saying that just as Michelle Daniel caught one in warm-ups that went over the back of the advertising boards on one bounce in court as well. So Malory released her, but I think the difference was, and I got to visit with them this week in practice, is the focus of this team and the kind of the growth. Like, I think they've realised this is the time for them to go win stuff, but they've got a lot of confidence from results, but there's just an added level of focus and that wasn't there 12 months ago, and I think you can kind of see results always help with that. But you said it's the depth that you have to fight every day for your spot on the court.
Yep, and that pushes your players to be the best that they possibly can be, and that really has shown through in the results. They look in good form, they look strong, they look happy, and they look confident. They played with confidence yesterday, so they'll be trying to bring that into today's match.
And obviously the addition of Georgia McGovern, the setter at Christmas, was an extra boost to Malory. Obviously being in big stage as well, made the D3 NCAA tournament. Didn't just make it, made the all-tournament team, made the national semi-final. So just another calm influence. But the thing with Malory is the ability to change systems. With Georgia, they've also got Claire Cullum and Celine Baptiste. All three are setting in warm-ups, which says about the mentality of this Malory team. So how diverse is that in terms of system of play?
Yeah, it's not something that you see from teams very often. You know, you might get a double substitution to swap your setter and opposite to keep a front court opposite, but you don't often see a change in system mid-match. So that flexibility from them is definitely going to be a difference maker.
Indeed. And obviously we'll flip it over to the other side of the net, and again, deserving finalists Essex Rebels, who are playing themselves just into form. Beat side out at the back end of the regular season, then won't go on and win the Bucks National Championship, and then obviously beat side out yesterday. So they're playing their best volleyball at the right time of the year.
Yeah, they definitely seem to have held back their best moments for now, which is hopefully going to make for an exciting match today. I do like the recent form that we've had, although yesterday's match was a bit of a weird one. So they started out a little bit slow, but then they did come back to get it in the reverse sweep. So it'll be a really interesting one today to see what they can put out there, who's going to be firing. I've just seen Haney out there rip an absolute monster slide in the warm-up.
Yeah, and obviously Haney, a big part of the Essex offense, and yesterday, huge game as well.
Oh, yeah, 16 kills and 4 blocks yesterday. And for a middle, that is an unreal number. Your middle, you're talking like high single digits. 16 is crazy.
Yeah, and I think talking about Chile, we haven't got the official attempt numbers ourselves, but the Rebels bench recorded Julia Haney at just over 700 hitting percentage yesterday, which is everything you need to know. Julia Haney came into the weekend, we'll talk about the middle battle as this game progresses, but came into the weekend second in league efficiency behind Malory middle Grace Lazard, and Grace also had a big game yesterday for Malory herself. She came up with 8 kills, but obviously if you talk about it in the same scheme of a 3-set game, a lot less points for Grace as well. So both middles were super effective.
Yeah, really effective. It'll be a battle of the middles, I think, today is going to be the key for both of these teams. Who can get their middles firing? Who can get their passing into a position that their setters can run those middle offenses? And I think this is where you might see a little bit of a difference between the setting style for both of these teams. You mentioned Georgia McGovern coming from the U.S., she has a really good bit of court vision. Now, Simmons for Rebels also has a really good court vision, but I don't know if she has quite the same level of experience to deal with some of those out-of-system balls.
Yeah, but Chelsea Simmons done a really good job this season, leading on successful assists by just over 1.5% coming into the weekend over Merv Aiken of Team Side Out Bologna. So Simmons, super experienced and going to be a reckoned force to deal with. The other thing for Essex, again, the confidence they would have taken just from the last 3 sets yesterday, because set 1 was a struggle. Set 2, they got blown off the court, but the ability to return and reset, really important for the Rebels, and that's going to flow straight into today.
Yeah, and I think that resilience and that mentality of being willing to fight back no matter what the set or the score line is are both going to be key for the ladies today.
As both teams going through the last bit of hitting warm-up on the floor. And obviously these two sides talked about the storied nature of them. A couple of battles in the regular season. And Malory took both 3-1. The matchup in December down in Cobham. Malory dropped the first set, and this was one of the sets that came up in the discussion with Mark Kontopoulos in the pre-game. He mentioned it building up to the semi-final, that when Essex play their best volleyball, they are capable of blowing some teams out of the water, and they took first set in Malory 25-10, but then Malory stormed back 25-21, 25-22, 25-21. Chloe Allen, 13 kills on 40 swings. Grace Lazard, 8 on 20. And Claire Kellum, 3 aces. It was a poor serve receive day for the Rebels, where their high standards. Weldon only passed the 157. Leah Borovic a 1-6, and we've seen serve receive be so crucial, Jess.
Yes, service reception is such an important part. We saw where Rebels were struggling with that in the early parts of the match yesterday, but then brought it back together from set 3.
And we talk serve receive, and brings us rightly onto our one to watch for today for the Malory Eagles. In the middle of your screen, number 3, the libero, Ari Sierra, widely known amongst in the Super League as the best libero, passing a 2.37 on the season, nearly 0.15 serve receive rating over the next best player in the Super League, which ironically is Taya Shamblin. But how much confidence, Jess, does Ari give that Malory back line of just being able to control the game?
I mean, and you know this, I'm a libero, so as a libero myself, I find that if your team can trust your defense in the backcourt, specifically your libero, who's going to lead not only your defense but your service reception, it just gives everybody that little bit of extra calm, and it helps your other passers pass better. If you're calm, you will keep them calm. You don't have to touch every single ball, but if you can just help them know what to do.
And not her best game yesterday, but we know from Ari Sierra she normally responds. The other thing for that is we expect Essex to try and serve around. It's traditionally an Alex Chinnery strategy to try and serve around Ari. So what other options that opens up as we flip over to the other side of the net? And Jess, we have to talk about the emotional leader of the Rebels, rightly so. She had a big game yesterday. We caught up with her post-game, the MVP of game number 1. But Alexis Diaz-Infante, the opposite former middle player, she's just going to be such a linchpin to calm this team down and not get too caught up in what happened yesterday and be able to reset this team.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So you saw yesterday during the match, she was such an emotional leader for the Essex Rebels. She really pumped them up, and it kind of started midway through set 2 where you could see that they were just starting to pick up, but they weren't quick enough to get that set in the bag. But her impact yesterday was absolutely crazy. You can see her shouting at her teammates. Exactly the type of energy we're expecting from somebody that put down 19 kills, 2 blocks, and an ace in yesterday's match. So she is going to be such a key part of the Rebels offense.
Indeed, and you've obviously got to watch the cross court with Alexis Diaz-Infante. Some of those balls yesterday were some of the hardest we've seen in the Malory Women's Super League this weekend, as we get ready to welcome our officials and teams officially onto court ahead of this Malory Women's Super League final. Great to have some of you joining us in the chat.
We can see as well that the poll keeps dipping back and forth between the two teams, and it's now currently Essex Rebels leading 53%, but I swear the last time I looked, which was only just a minute ago, it was 54% for Malory Eagles.
Yeah, and I was chatting with a couple of players and people around before we came on air, Jess, and I think there was pretty much split, but I will say the consensus from team side out was we were going to see another 5-setter, and the side out ladies obviously lost to the Rebels yesterday. Their little prediction as a group was side out to win it. Essex to win it 3-2. So we'll see if that comes through, as both these teams have got experience in 5 sets. So if it gets to that, you almost think it is almost a coin toss if it goes that deep.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If it goes to 5 sets, it's really just going to be down to which of these teams has the final bit of mental resilience to get things across the line. We're just going to have our officials announced now. We have our first official is Katerina Sepanova, and our second official is Carl Padayachi.
Indeed, and obviously an integral part of what we go as the Simmons family in the chat. We do know that the Essex Rebels family, especially those of you in the States, like to get involved, so keep your thoughts coming as well. Great to have you with us on the Volleyball England stream. Make sure we share it as we approach the business end of the season. After this, just the National Cup finals remain for the Rebels. They know this is their last game no matter what. Malory will have that cup final against team side out Bologna as we welcome the Malory Eagles onto court, and they're led out by their captain, number 4, Chloe Allen, number 1, Steph Boyce in the middle, number 2, Selena Baptiste, who originally started as a setter this year, was setting last year, now turned into a day-to-day opposite for Malory and had huge success. Number 5, Grace Lazard. The change in the Malory group, they went with what worked later on in the game yesterday against Lionhearts. Number 13, Fika Tamoy into the starting 7. Number 17, Georgia McGovern, the setter. And of course, the libero, who apparently seems to forget to give love to her coaches. Number 3, Ari Sierra. And of course, the all-experienced coaching staff for the Malory Eagles, Jefferson Williams, Ian Legrand, Andrew Orushemi, and of course, Carol Gordon.
Yes.
As we now get ready to welcome the Essex Rebels onto court, of course, head coach Alex Chinnery, and they'll be led out by their captain and, of course, starting setter Chelsea Simmons. Another one to watch for with the serve as well. Simmons, 32 aces, third most in the Super League going into this weekend. And the rest of the starting 7 for the Rebels: number 10, Leah Borovec. Number 13, Julia Haney. Will be interesting to see where the rotation battle goes with Haney and Lazard. Are they matched on each other or not? We'll find out ever so shortly. Number 22, Kat Tolley, who obviously had the winning point yesterday for the Rebels in set number 5. Number 27, Taya Shamblin, big part of the in-serve receive unit for the Rebels. Number 47, Alexis Diaz-Infante, and of course the starting libero, number 19, Ladoka Weldon. Jess, before we get underway, what is the key for this game? Where is this game going to be won?
Through the middle. Haney yesterday was an unstoppable force for Rebels. Lazard was firing as well for Malory Eagles, so it's really just going to be down to who can fire, who can get that pass in, who can get that set up, and who can beat the block. Rebels here just taking a little bit of extra time for a huddle as the first referee.
Can you get a delay of game warning before the game starts?
Yes, you can. Throw on my referee hat. Yes,
you do.
You can.
It's interesting that both Lazard and Haney look like they're in rotation for Jess, so we're going to see that confrontation early on. Both of them in the front court for the full rotation. As we're about ready to go. Chelsea Simmons won the toss and Mallory to serve. And we are about ready to go as the crowd has filled out very nicely here at the National Sports Centre in Crystal Palace. Obviously, both Mallory men and Essex men in attendance, but Steph Boyce will get us underway. Gold medal game in the Mari Women's Super League. Immediately, Diaz-Infante can't quite connect. She goes halfway up the net, and Mallory open up 1-0.
It does make sense to start with who was your hot hand yesterday. I mean, 19 kills. Put her straight up there. Not quite the connection she wanted, but they'll try it again soon.
So Steph Boy's experience, we'll see her coaching as well in the cup finals a couple of weeks. Perfect pass by Shamblin as Lazard shuts down Julia Haney early on.
What a block from Lazard here. Absolutely well read.
Well, if anyone was asleep, they weren't after that. Grace Lazard saying, welcome to Crystal Palace. Steph Boyce, third serve in a row. It's time going to Leah Borovec. She'll get it back on serve receive. McGovern gets a tip on it. Going down the line, Selena Batiste getting told off by Jefferson Williams. But a strong first swing for Leah Borovec, who struggled early yesterday, as a lot of the Rebels did, but really grew into the game.
Yeah, we saw Borovec come off partway through that match yesterday in favor of Tamoy to shore up the passing, but really smart down the line roll shot from her.
So Diaz-Infante on the service line, going to Tamoy, pinpoint pass. Selena Batiste has to chase it a little bit as Borovec was there, and she finds the kill. Chloe Allen couldn't quite get there. Leah Borovec 2 of 2 early on for the Croatian.
Early fast start for her, and both like quite dipping roll shots, not going deep, not going power, just going straight over the block and catching the Mallory defense on their heels.
So we know this Essex Rebels team like to put serve pressure on. 5 of the top 12 in errors, but Alex Chinnery happy with it. Another good pass for Mallory. Grace Lazard has to reach for it. Shamblin scrambling on defense. Slide for Haney. Tips it into the front 3-meter zone. Sierra can't pick it up. And 3 straight for the Rebels.
Smart play from Haney there. We saw that the slide was really effective for Rebels, especially in set 4 yesterday. So interested to see the block set up from Mallory ready for that one.
Obviously deep in the season, some of the key tendencies known on both sides as Tamoy pulls McGovern to the 3-meter line. Batiste is going to get a chance, goes cross court. Diaz-Infante dig. Sierra will call for it on the overpass, and Lazard bounces the ball, and you can just hear the eruption from the crowd.
That Lazard's trying to put a dent in the floor. Wow.
I mean, Shamblin did great job to get her head out the way of that, because that was travelling with some speed. And that will allow Selena Batiste to go back to the service line. Another great pass by Borovec. Sierra there on the cross-court dig. Chloe Allen from the pipe off the top of the net tape. Diaz Infante gets a hand to it. Simmons with a little bit of a rush on the set. Back set for Lazard. The ball off the net tape onto the Malory side. Tomoy keeping it alive. First long rally of the day as Borovec gets hands and finds the floor. Sierra was scrambling, but just a little bit too much weight off the block touch. And Leia Borovec is starting off strong. Best game of the season, ironically, opening weekend for Leia Borovec, where she hit 500 on the season, 12 kills on 20 swings, just 2 errors. And she's challenging that early on as Tomoy catches the shoulder of Weldon on the way through. Big swing by Chika Tomoy. Both sides showing no sign of nerves and just going out full power. And allow Tomoy back to the service line. 94% success rate. She gets Borovec scrambling.
Really out of system free ball here.
Batiste, McGovern, jump set over Allen, tips it. Diaz Infante was already well up on the court, able to get to that. Chamberlain blocked by Lazard. Good cover. She'll get a second opportunity. McGovern again trying to find Lazard. She splits Weldon and Borovec. And Grace Lazard, as much as Leia Borovec started well, Grace Lazard said, I can do this as well.
I know, and I know you guys can't hear this at home, but excellent from DJ Cads, where he's given us the ka-ching noise as that ball hit the ground.
Haney on a kind of a stop-start slide, didn't have the continuity on it. Great set from McGovern on the bump set, blocked by the Rebels, but recycled. Allen goes one-handed stuff by Weldon. McGovern two-handed, finds the floor. Good defense by the Rebels, but can't control the passing angle on the dig and the length. And Malory are going to put those away.
Yeah, really well watched there by McGovern. Ready for that ball, finding that empty bit of space on the court.
Borovec down to 2 knees. Diaz Infante from the pipe. It's something we saw a lot of yesterday with Diaz Infante stepping inside and running the pipe as Chloe Allen finds her first kill of the game.
Dream start here for Malory Eagles as they have come out flying with 5 kills in the last 6 points.
And no errors.
No errors.
As Tomoy off the top of the net tape. Simmons plays it, but out of system ball. Chamberlain cross court finds Sierra. Another solid reception. Allen beats Haney and Simmons. Those two really dangerous in the blocking game. And Alex Chinnery going to talk it over early. Malory on a big service run. 8-4. They lead. Set number 1 of the Mari Women's Super League final. And Jess, Malory, we talked about not wanting to get caught up in emotion a little bit in the pre-game, but coming out and just doing what you've done all year, and they're doing that really well early on.
Yep, definitely. And we've seen that Lazard has gotten a fast start, which is what I was saying just before the match started. She's got 1 block and 2 kills already. Getting that middle in play means that you're holding the middle on the Rebel side, so Haney's struggling to close that block on either of the pins, giving them plenty of room to swing freely.
MC Stan getting the crowd in. They're not as willing and as engaged as they are involved in the volleyball, but so far plenty to enjoy. And crowd have reacted to a lot of things as the bleachers on the far side filling up really nicely. Simmons to Chamberlain, blocked, and the ball just out by Lazard. And a big point again at the timeout for the Rebels, as that will take Julia Haney to the service line. Kat Tolley, her first action of the game, wearing 22 in the middle position. Now, it's a big decision for Alex Chinnery building into this week. Would he go with Saskia Freda-Schofler? Will he go with Kat Tolley? Kat had a great week of training and earned the starting spot as the push by Allen into the deep corner finds the court. Nice and deep. And she gets a 3rd kill in a row. And that'll send Grace Lazard back to the service line.
That is some high volleyball IQ, going in with a 2-handed tip, running in like that, but still putting the ball away.
Lazard, high risk for Malory, 40 errors on the season as Borovec plays the pass well. Diaz Infante back row, puts it long. But you can see Chelsea Simmons trying to get Diaz Infante involved multiple ways in the back row. We've seen the pipe attack now. We've seen the now we see the 3-meter 10 ball.
We saw this at the start of the match yesterday as well. Diaz Infante wasn't quite firing in set 1.
As Lazard, there's one of the errors we were talking about. Goes over the baseline. And just the first error for Malory on the day, but service error, but also 3 points to Lazard's name prior to that. So good start as Chelsea Simmons. Unusual to see her this deep in the service rotation as Allen catches the ball clean as you like, beats Weldon on the cross court.
Chloe Allen had 14 kills yesterday, and if she carries on at this pace, she's going to absolutely smash that number today. 4 already.
Shamblin away to her left, going to get it back, tip. McGovern's going to play it. Tamoy calls for it ahead of Sierra. Allen steps in, off the block touch. Borovec scrambling. Tolly, amazing defense to keep it over. She's back in position. Allen again trying to go to that deep corner. Weldon on the read. Borovec from the pipe. Sierra, great height on it, and just a little bit of an overset. Boyce, Allen couldn't recover.
A little bit of a misconnection there between McGovern and Boyce.
Just see words of encouragement from Jefferson Williams to his setup. Shamblin, again, they're looking at Tamoy to see a lot of ball. Allen into the block of Tolly and Borovec.
I think Borovec might have got her hands on that one. Yeah. You can see how pumped up she is as she goes away, but that's the first block on Allen, who's been prolific already.
Shamblin goes way over the baseline. Sierra was in good control. It gives a thumbs up to the bench as well. Could even hear through our headphones an early shout of out.
Yeah. I think she was going to play that, and then that shout from the bench just kept her from sticking her arms out there.
So it'll be Chloe Allen, the Malory captain. No, serve. Perfect pass from Shamblin. Borovec goes cross court. Too much on it by Leah Borovec.
Yeah, trying to go thumb down, get that cross court action. I think she'd have struggled to beat Ari there, but just 4-4, too wide.
Low serve by Allen. Simmons one-handed set. Little punch action. Allen off her knees. Jefferson Williams wanting the call. Simmons going to set Diaz Infante right next to her, and she finds a cross-court connection.
There we go. We've had a couple errors in a row from the Rebels, and then Diaz Infante coming in with that leadership that we spoke about in the pregame, having the kill at the right moment.
Allen. Batiste into the block. Batiste has to play it. Allen wasn't going to get there on the scramble. Tamoy steps in, goes cross court, and beats Tolly on the big swing. Chica Tamoy, big service run earlier. Now starting to get involved offensively, and she's given Malory a big boost in the late half to set as we complete rotation 1, full way cycle. Malory 14 on the board. Lead the Rebels by 5 in the Mari Women's Super League final. Back set. Diaz Infante rolls it to Boyce. Tamoy, tough angle, hits the antenna.
Yeah, that set to Diaz Infante, I think, a little too low for what she wants. She wants a slightly higher ball so that she can come over the top of it. It's what she was really firing well with yesterday.
As Diaz Infante taking her time not to rush. Tamoy a little bit low, but good set. McGovern Weldon with a left-handed dig. Going to be a free ball for Malory though. McGovern. Batiste beats Borovec on the one-on-one. And Selena Batiste really grown throughout this season. We talked about the setting change. Spoke to a couple of weeks ago before the Malory Darkstar game where Malory clinched the league. And she said she just felt a new sense of freedom, and like it really allowed her to just enjoy volleyball as well. She was enjoying it anyway as she nearly gets the ace on Shamblin, but kind of gives her a new lease of life halfway through the season and really coming into her own in the position as Tamoy just misses the sideline.
Yeah, trying to tag that deep corner again, but not quite making it. But really good performance so far from Batiste. She does look quite comfortable in that opposite position.
As London Giants in one of the VIP boxes away to our right, going for a little film session. We'll see them in the Dynamic Men's Super League in a minute as Lazard. I don't know if that was a block or not, because the ball hit the floor, so we don't see a 4 touch signal because the ball hit the floor. I think initially they were calling for the Rebels, and then they realised they're getting to the point that someone's trying to cheekily claim the block.
I'm going to go with that was
Lazard into the net as Tomoy overpass. Great pickup by Sierra. The crowd are loving that one by the Malory libero. Shamblin beats Allen.
What a dig by Ari. We said that she was our one to watch, and that is exactly why.
As Essex trimmed the lead that was as much as 5 just a few points ago. It was 14-9 down to 15-13, and they've, as they did yesterday, started a little bit slow but starting to grow into this gold medal game, Jess. And Alex will be pleased with the response from his side.
Yes, definitely. He'll be quite pleased that they've decided to turn things on midway through set number 1 rather than waiting all the way until set number 3 to put on a show for the crowd. Have loved the crowd reactions already. We're only halfway through set 1.
The fact that we can hear it through a headset, we know that means the crowd are enjoying it, because it's not easy to hear through this, but that dig by Sierra showing why she's our one to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was
the only thing that she didn't do was win the point.
Yes.
How easy is it to make a highlight reel when you don't win a point? But liberos love it. That's their job. They know what they sign up for.
Liberos never get highlight reels, so if you make a highlight reel for her, I'm sure she would be pleased regardless.
McGovern finds Lazard, I think off the hands of Haney on the block.
Yeah, that speed in the Malory offense just making things difficult for the Rebels defense. So Haney not quite getting her block fully set and up there before Lazard strikes that one.
So Tomoy, who had the service run early on her first rotation, can she do the same? Another great pass. Both teams serve, receive, really holding up as Tomoy couldn't quite get under. Another monster by Taya Shamblin.
Yeah, gap in that block there meant that Shamblin could hit that ball quite shallow into 6, which means Tomoy is too deep to get her hands underneath that one. Really smart swing. Haney with a deep float.
Allen! The whistle went. They had to call a let. The whistle went. Oh, they're going to say it hit the floor. Question was floor to foot or foot to floor? Because both are possible, and it hit Borovec's foot, but the question was, did the ball hit the floor first? I wouldn't make the change yet in case there's a reversal. There's not going to be.
Nope.
As Claire Kellum comes in for Grace Lazard. Now, Kellum started the last game between these two teams a month ago. In that game, 5 assists on 11 attempts. We talked about the multi-set system for Malory. But she also had an ace in just 7 serves and really put some pressure on the Rebels' back line. But the Rebels are really holding up today. Shamblin through the middle. Great change-up call by Alex Chinnery and Chelsea Simmons, running the outside through the middle of the court.
I think this is something
Shamblin is hot.
Rebels do that a lot of the other women's teams aren't doing at the moment. They're running those stack plays. You've got outside coming in to hit from the middle, or you've got opposite and middle stacking at the back towards position 2.
Tomoy, first serve, receive error of the day for Malory, and ace for Chelsea Simmons. Talked about that serving press before the game, and there it is, and all of a sudden the Rebels are within 1.
Yeah, we mentioned that the pass is going to be key to get those middles working, but if Rebels can put on some good service pressure, they're going to make things difficult for Eagles, so they'll want to keep on with that.
Tomoy, McGovern tries to go over on touch 2, doesn't get the kill. Shamblin off the hands of the block. Allen waits on it and beats the Tolly and Diaz Infante block, beats Borek in the back row as well. And Malory getting contributions from pretty much all their hitters early on in this game.
Yeah, although we're seeing a lot from Allen right now.
I think Jefferson Williams either wanted him out of rotation or he was calling out something he'd seen potentially on scout as Chloe Allen finds Weldon. Big dig by Madoka Weldon. But free ball for Malory. Ari Sierra steps into the 3-meter line to play it, and Boyce tries to go back corner, but Borovec again on the defense. As Allen, tight angle, Tolly. And they're going to call net touch on Diaz Infante.
That's a really big letdown, not just for the Rebels, but I think for all the fans as well, because that was an epic rally already. Really great to see such a play going on. Some amazing diving digs for both Weldon and Sierra. That's a great pass.
As Borovec. Tomoy, Sierra's going to get there. Boyce just inside the 3-meter line. Free ball, but Rebels going to have to earn it again. Diaz Infante steps in. Sierra gets a hand to it.
And again, we see that stack play. This time we've got the middle coming just behind the setter and Diaz Infante hitting just inside the pin. So Boyce has 2 different attackers to look at with a very similar set. It's difficult to determine who's actually getting that ball.
So we go back and forth in set 1. Malory haven't really trailed, but it's not being convincing as the ball just misses the line. Not all deep by much by Chloe Allen. Line judge, I think, was trying to see the line and then suddenly came a little bit too close and he was deep off the baseline. Wasn't the easiest call for him to make. As Taya Shambling goes deep. Sierra, McGovern, Boyce goes for a little tip. Simmons has to rescue Weldon's. That's a big run by Madoka Weldon. That ball well into the roof. Free ball for Malory. Back set for Chloe Allen from the right side. Rare to see Allen on the right side, but she gets the kill.
Really good swing, especially having an error on that swing from the last one. Really interesting choice by Weldon to chase that ball down when Diaz Infante was in a decent position to put up a set for Borovec.
Weldon. Diaz Infante through the middle, roll shot picked up by Sierra. McGovern, Batiste, Simmons, big dig. Great backcourt set by Shamlin. Another roll shot. Batiste's going to get that. Allen's going to give her partner in the outside position some time in Tomoy, but can't find it. Borovec finds the winner though.
That is such a great swing, but all of that was precipitated by some incredible defense by Weldon. We're just going to have a serving substitution with Priestley coming in for Tully.
And Priestley did a really good job on serve. She's a really interesting serving sub. She's probably the least pressure serve sub in terms of she's not going to go big. She's not really trying to ace you. She's ball in play, but she's also accuracy and really trying to hit some of the seams and gaps. That's Emily Priestley's serving aim, and she's earned the serving spot. It wasn't hers to start the season, and she goes low on Sierra. It's going to be a free ball given up by Alan Simmons, who's already on the net before the contact. Middle for Haney, but it's shut down by Stephanie Boyce.
That is monster for Stephanie Boyce there through the middle, shutting down Rebels' massive outlet player from yesterday's matchup. That is exactly what Coach Jefferson Williams will want from his ladies. Just going to have a serving sub on the Malory Eagles side.
Something's upset Alex Chinnery. I didn't catch it out the corner of my eye. But Sophie Shishko, the Malory utility on to serve, as you said. Weldon. Another great pass. Diaz Infante goes line and beats the block of Tomoy. And Rebels stay in it, just trailing by 1.
Okay, Diaz Infante getting fired up now. This is a good sign for Rebels. But Malory have been firing on all cylinders from an attacking front. So, still could be anybody's game.
And Diaz Infante on the service line. She was one of the people that helped flip this deficit from 5 or 4 to get it back. Lazard misses. Not quite timed up. And Essex tie us up 21 points apiece.
What a time to come in with an error through the middle. Grace Lazard has been so consistent, but that ball just not where she needed it to be.
It's interesting that Malory, rotation 1 all the way through, had 14 points. That number is going to be a lot less on this full side. as Lazard makes up for the error with the kill.
Much better connection there between her and McGovern. They'll be very pleased with that. Now, with Batiste going to the backcourt and McGovern at the front, they have the slide option available to them.
Borovic, tight set, shut down by Georgia McGovern. 3 huge blocks in this set for Malory. McGovern this time.
We'll watch that one again so you can just see how confidently McGovern's pressing her arms over the net for that ball.
So Selena Batiste, low serve, Chamberlain, another terrific pass. Diaz-Infante with a little punch over. McGovern's going to have to scramble to get there. Tamoy beats the double block. Diaz-Infante steps to cover the line as well. And time for Malory to step on the gas. They're 1 point away, having seen their lead shrink. Alex Chinnery not going to use a timeout. He has one in his back pocket. Instead, he's going to talk it over with his staff. And maybe starting to think about minor adjustments for set number 2 as Chamberlain again being tested. Haney on the slide. Tamoy gets a hand to it, but Allen can't track it down.
And that's exactly what we saw yesterday. Haney on the slide, almost unstoppable.
So still set point number 2 for the Eagles. Leah Borek, Tamoy, Lazard on the slide, blocked by Taya Chamberlain. Chelsea Simmons has her hands to her head. Jules Haney firing up Taya Chamberlain. Beach background for Chamberlain, and Jefferson Williams has the timeout in his back pocket. Gonna make Leah Borek think about it.
Just gonna try and ice out the server here. But that block from Taya Chamberlain, wow. You're not going to expect to see her stop Grace Lazard, who has been so good.
But again, the beach background kind of showing through. Chamberlain more the defense specialist, but part of defense is blocking, and she's been able to get up there a few times. But normally with the help of another middle, that's going to, for me, go down as a solo block. If so, it's number 2 on the season.
That's
and what a time for it to come. But problem for the Rebels, they need one more.
Yes, they do. They need to stay in. So Borovic here under pressure on this serve. What is she going to do? Because it needs to be high service pressure.
Leah Borovic, serve rating of 189, 83% success rate, 25 aces, 38 errors, team high coming into the weekend. Again, they're going for Tamoy. Tight pass. McGovern gets a hand to it. Out of system. Going to be a free ball. Tamoy. Where do they go? Allen down the pipe. Dug by Borovic, but not controlled. Chloe Allen wins set 1 for the Malory Eagles. And Jess, what a high-level set of volleyball that was.
Definitely agree with that. And exactly the type of set that you want to see on set point. You've got your captain coming in. She's been firing on all cylinders all set long. Let her take that one home. Well, Jess, you're going to take a quick break as we bring in special guest to the commentary booth. Only for a brief appearance, but nice to have him up here. Rob Payne joining us. And Rob, first of all, before we go and talk about, let's talk about this weekend before we talk about next year. Moving it to Crystal Palace. I know it wasn't an easy decision of where to potentially relocate finals away from Kettering, but how do you think the event's gone?
Oh, I'm delighted. It's such a big deal to bring it to London. We know that we've got a massive community in London. That we know they've got a massive fan base, a big following, a big club network, and people are en masse today, and it's just fantastic to see.
So obviously, the change in the summer, the big one is the reduction of the Super League from 10 teams to 8. I know a lot went into that, but what are your expectations for the more condensed Super League next season?
Well, the purpose behind reducing the league from 10 to 8 is all about trying to concentrate the quality of what we're doing. And with the resource that we have at Volleyball England, the increased input that we're putting into the product of the Super League, less teams means more quality, more focus, and more profile for the Super League, the teams and the players from within it. And that's the big focus.
I know there's a meeting on the cards for May, but just give us a little glimpse of what's going to go into that Super League and kind of condensing it, but also expanding the reach of it.
Yeah, so the meeting in May is to bring all the teams together, and they're all stakeholders of the league. They're all people that have got a vested interest in the journey in which we want to take the Super League to become more professionalised. And this meeting is to speak to the teams, understand from them what's really happening on a week-to-week basis, and really understand where we can take things to grow the league, to improve the profile of it, and to really make it an attractive product for people to be part of, for our players to aspire up the pathway through the juniors into the seniors to play in the Super League and be part of these teams that really are becoming icons of the sport in this country.
And as you kind of reflect on the Super League season, how impressive, I know we talked about it off air, we were talking about signing deadlines and stuff, but I think how much does it say that teams are making efforts year in, year out to stay in the league? As much as it caused a little bit of chaos, you could argue good chaos because teams were passionate about staying in the Super League. How much confidence does that give you that we're moving in the right direction?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, I think the proof is in the pudding. Teams are doing absolutely everything to keep those spots in the Super League, and those coveted 8 places mean a lot to the teams, and we are seeing that everybody is raising the bar, and the bar keeps to grow and grow and grow, and you're seeing it from the teams in Division 1 as well. They're really setting out their sights to get into the Super League and be part of this great product that we are all putting on for them.
And obviously the big weekend next weekend in Cambridge. We've got 14 teams effectively guaranteed in Super League, 7 for the Malory women, 8 for the Dynamic men's Super League. 2 spots left next week in Cambridge. I know you'll be there for that one. And of course, Cup finals are well coming up. It's an exciting month to end the season indoors.
It is. And the month of April is always a really busy one for us. And it's a real great way to feast on the sport until we move into the beach in the summer. So, over to you again, Mike.
Well, appreciate it, Rob. As Taya Shamblin starts with an ace set number 2. We'll bring Jess Smith back in for set number 2. There's thoughts of Rob Payne previewing a new and improved Super League, Jess, which we can look forward to, but we've got to wait and get the finals out of the way first.
Yes, and Taya Shamblin starting us off with an ace.
And she can't quite back it up there. Straight to Chloe Allen. Lazard is the decoy. Tamoy finds the back line, and Alex Chinnery is going mental.
Definitely convinced that ball was out.
As the sun for the first time starting to creep through. We know Alex Chinnery, a passionate coach. As Borovec finds Sierra, that ball's going to stay for McGovern to be able to hit. Weldon with a terrific pickup, but the Rebels can't recover. And again, we see the signs of Malory just coming through in the multiple positions where McGovern feels so confident to turn around and make that a hit rather than needing to maybe set that.
Yeah, you need a little bit of that setter aggression. Set the tone for your team. Let your ladies know that it's okay to want to put the ball down.
Diaz Infante finds Batiste on the cross court. Tamoy, who's done a really good job making things difficult from some tough angles in set number 1. Borovec goes to the roll. And Leia Borovec, really efficient so far today. Had a big run early in the game, but starting to grow into confidence.
I love that really beachy roll shot off of that really difficult to attack ball. It's coming from behind her shoulder. She's not going to be able to get a full swing on it. Just doing something smart. As
Rebels also made, I missed that coming out the timeout. No touch given. Malory wanting the touch. 2 close calls, maybe 1-1.
Yeah, let's just call it evens for now.
Saskia Freda-Schofel started set number 2 instead of Kat Tolley. Freda-Schofel a little bit more of a blocker. So perhaps trying to match up with Lazard there, and she goes over the baseline on that one. Freda-Schofel, 27 errors on the season coming in, 76.5% success rate for the young Brit. Was terrific in the Bucks final. She got the start over Kat Tolley in that one. I know Alex Chin has been wrestling with that decision a lot as the net cord from Tamoy goes over on the overpass. Tight set. McGovern does well not to touch the net. Diaz Infante blocked by Lazard and Allen. I think Lazard not letting Allen claim that one, but really tough to tell from this side angle. But those two team up so well, Jess.
Yeah, really, really clean block from them.
And not a lot Diaz Infante can do with that one. Shamblin, another big serve by Tamoy. She's been a huge X factor so far as McGovern and Lazard combine back-to-back blocks for the Malory defense, and we know this is what this Malory team are capable of on the defensive end, Jess. We've got Sierra in the back row, but they've got a capable blocking unit with Allen and Lazard in particular. McGovern's just given them a little bit of something today as well. It's her second block as Tamoy just misses the baseline.
Bit of a let off there for the Rebels. So we saw Lazard had 3 blocks in the match yesterday, but she's had 2 in this set alone. Back-to-back blocks, as it were.
Tamoy can't deal with the serve.
This is so key from Diaz Infante right now. Always coming in at those clutch moments, saying, let me get my ladies pumped up and back in this match.
Sierra right onto the tape for McGovern. Allen can't find the kill. Borek with the roll, but he's read it well. Back set 4. Lazard, big one-handed pickup by Chamberlain in position 6. Allen to the roll. Diaz Infante is going to go over. Sierra calls for it nice and early. Longs out to Allen, who misses the baseline.
Wow. What a leave by Chamberlain and Sierra in the back. But that pickup from Diaz Infante, I know that ball went straight back over the net, but that was such a clutch tip pickup.
As Diaz Infante going deep to Moy. Lazard nearly picked up by the Rebels. Haney lets out a scream of frustration.
Lazard with her first kill of set number 2.
As our makeshift temporary lights banner starting to come up clutch. Sun definitely not as bad as it was 24 hours ago, but starting to creep through as Simmons off a knee. Borek can only roll it over. Tamoy from the 3-meter line finds Diaz Infante. Simmons for the kill. Lazard got a hand to it, but not enough. Great change up by Chelsea Simmons.
Exactly what you need to do when you've got your middle in the backcourt defending, especially as a setter, having that awareness to put that ball down, take advantage of a slower, taller player.
As Allen went long on the last one, not going to make the same mistake 2 points in a row. Chloe Allen splitting the gap on the opposite side of the court.
I'm really loving this connection between McGovern and Allen in this match so far because it's almost telepathic. That ball is coming so fast across the net. Incredible set speed.
Weldon does well to get to the serve. Chamberlain has to backpedal, so just a little bit more of a conservative play. Lovely back set by McGovern, but Batiste couldn't do with it. Chamberlain, Sierra, Boyce, one-handed. That's going to drop in. Great early call by the Rebels bench to help their defense out as Sierra gets the dig, but after the net touch by Steph Boyce.
Big let off there for the Rebels. They'll be really pleased with that, but some really great swings, and I love that one-handed quick set from Simmons out to Chamberlain on the outside.
As Carol Gordon, Jefferson Williams talking over just in front, well, just below us, I suppose, technically is the correct term. Up here on the balcony as McGovern way off the 3-meter line, sets to Batiste into the block. Diaz Infante not going to get there, but not for the lack of trying. And the Essex block is starting to affect a couple of the Malory hitters. Selena Batiste in particular isn't super efficient right now.
She's not. They're getting really good containing block touches, but if we can see Malory adjust just slightly, try and go slightly higher on the hands of the blockers, they'll probably get more of those block out kills.
Chamberlain gets the touch of the block, and we go back and forth in what has been a terrific final so far. Back and forth both ways. Rebels with a slender 1-point lead as Chelsea Simmons back to serve. Nearly full through a full rotation here in set 2 as Sierra leaves it. It's a confident lead by the libero for a ball that wasn't too far away from the back line.
Yeah, that's not missing by much. Really great lead there. That takes some serious guts. Well, let's see what this changes things. Lazard's back at the front.
Boyce into the net, so that's not going to change a lot where Grace Lazard is, but that will complete the first full rotation in set 2 And it is the Rebels with a 10-9 lead. And Taya Shamblin, who had an ace to open up the set, can clearly see the Rebels trying to target Chika Tomoe. As Selena Batista said, she's been a little bit quiet there. She is finding the gap, not quite fully down the line, but enough in between position 5 and 6. Borovic and Weldon on the back line.
Almost looking like she has to overreach for that ball, but somehow making a clean kill out of it.
Shamblin, who has been terrific in serve receive for the Rebels. Diaz Infante dug up by Allen. Rebels trying to get the kill. And the ball wide. Alex Chinnery not happy. And second referee, Carl Badacci, going to have a word.
He's very animated over there, but they were so certain that there was a touch on that ball.
I know, I think he thought the ball was in. I don't think there was a... Had a lie as the serve goes out.
I am sure down there that he will be thinking to himself, the ball never lies. So that's something that we like to say to ourselves.
Presumably someone within the Simmons family says exactly that. As Freddie Schofel, that was going over the baseline, but Allen was too square on to leave it. Tomoe misses. And just a couple of errors starting to creep into this Malory attack in set number 2. And we continue this back and forth 1-2 point swing as Freddie Schofel. Tomoe doesn't make an error, but big dig by Shamblin, who's been sensational for the Rebels. Batiste gonna set it. Lazard on a mini slide, blocked by Haney, but recovered. And Tomoe gets stuffed by Diaz Infante on the little tip. Chloe Allen not able to get there on the cover.
That's a really difficult ball. It's coming from an awkward position on a bump set. Batiste is going to struggle to get anything of note onto that ball. There's not going to be any power. The best thing she could have done was try and go tip out, but she's quite far in from the pin, so you have to be throwing a lot of tip force into that to get it to go out. So Essex Rebels will be pleased that they're leading by 2 points in this second set. Coach Jefferson Williams will be looking to get his ladies to just change things up. And as you can see from the angle of the camera right now, that sun is really starting to shine through. However, at the moment, it's only off the court. This is a good angle as well. You can see it's starting to creep in towards the court.
Slowly, slowly.
Slowly, slowly. And it is bright. It's a very bright day. I don't even think there's any clouds out there.
So Freddie Schofel on the serve line. Coming in for Kat Tolley in set number 2. And just about gets it over the net tape. McGovern goes over because she wasn't going to be able to get a good setup. Shamblin from the pipe, blocked by Grace Lazard. Grace Lazard impacting the game on both offense and defense. Third or fourth block kill for her.
Yeah, really difficult one. So that's a great read from Lazard, but Rebels need to speed up their offense if they want to beat the Malory block.
As Tomoe. Again, Malory seems to be targeting Shamblin with not a lot of success. You wonder if they need to change up the serving strategy a little bit. It's Allen, well read by Simmons, but out of system. Weldon bump set for Borovic. She goes down the line, beats Batiste, beats Tomoe. Malory had 4 players trying to cover that one.
There we go. We've said it quite a few times this weekend. We've got a lot of beachy plays going on, so Borovic comes in with that high line, pitch perfect. Rebels maintain that 2-point lead.
Diaz Infante back to serve. She's probably caused the most questions of this Malory serve receive unit. As Allen bump set, McGovern with the kill. Setters taking swings, and Georgia McGovern has the second one in this set.
I mean, if your setter can swing.
How long till she plays opposite? And they go to the 2-setter system. They can do it with Batiste, so you wonder if McGovern's having this amount of success if Jefferson Williams tries and mixes it up. Obviously, Claire Kellum on the bench can set as well as Borovic goes line stuffed by McGovern. And Selena Batiste firing up her setup. And we are back once again, 14 apiece.
Massive block there. Borvik's been doing some smart hitting, but now that she's finally taking the swing, just shutting that down.
Shamblin, perfect pass for Simmons. Borovic not quite on the same page on the read. Allen into the block, it's going to roll over. Haney has to play defense. Borovic's going to set for Diaz Infante, and that ball, I don't know if Boyce got a touch on it. I think it was into the net, but if it was going to go over, Steph Boyce was all lined up for that one anyway. And Grace Lazard back to serve for Malory. 15-14 the lead. And she has an error that nearly gave a heart attack to Chelsea Simmons. I think for a second she thought she was beat on that one, hitting the net tape and rolling over.
It can go either way quite often.
As Tamoy again being tested, she's held up really well. And also holding up is Chloe Allen's right arm.
Wow, that is a rocket of a swing.
As McGovern goes line, Shamblin, one of her worst passes today. Free ball given up by Diaz Infante. Batiste off the hands of Taya Shamblin.
Really smart swing now. They've seen that Rebels have started to adjust to their attacking style, and now they're just adjusting to that, and now trying to go off the edge of the hands of the block.
So Malory suddenly from 2 down to a 2-point lead. Shamblin trying to reduce that to 1 as Batiste into the umpire's chair off the block touch.
Yeah, good
and
scramble
Freddie
play.
Schofield into the game as Julia Haney will head to the service line. Tamoy, McGovern, Batiste into the block, played for the touch to get it back. And Diaz Infante trying to scramble. Jefferson Williams takes a big gasp of breath on the sideline as his side keep the narrowest lead. And he'll talk it over with Ian Legrand and Carol Gordon down below us. Such experience in this Malory coaching staff. As Chloe Allen finds Borovic off the bottom of the net. Simmons has to play. Freddie Schofield pushes over to Allen. Tamoy into the block of Chelsea.
Wow.
Simmons.
What a
Second solo stuff of the season for Simmons. And we need to see that one again, Jess.
that's
Freddie
a-
Schofield knew she wasn't going to get there. Pulled away. And as Simmons said, don't worry, I'll hold it up. And the setter, who's 5th in the Super League, coming in at blocks per set at 0.73, has a big one to get her side back within 1 as Steph Boyce missed connection. And we are all of a sudden tied at 18 apiece. And Chelsea Simmons back to serve, goes float and goes halfway into the net. Uncharacteristic from Simmons. And that will bring Grace Lazard into the front row for Malory, and Steph Boyce a little bit more passive on that serve. Diaz Infante into the block, finds the touch and the kill.
That's a great adjustment from Diaz Infante. And again, this stack play is just throwing off the Malory block ever so slightly, just enough to give them some space to do something smart with the ball.
Yeah, and Diaz Infante well off the line on the left side. Normally they're up on the right, so got to credit Alex Chinnery in some of the schemes. He's trying to be creative. As Lazard over her head. Freddie Schofield's going to get a little bit greedy. And Lazard beats her on the one-on-one.
What a swing here from Lazard, straight down the front of the block. I think if that hadn't touched the block, it would have been a good meter inside the 3-meter line.
As the Malory men giving some love for their libero, and Jefferson Williams just double checking who's meant to be serving. Don't want to be out of rotation at 2019 in set number 2. If in doubt, ask the question. As Batiste, Shamblin takes it, not great, but Simmons able to get there in time. Big play by Batiste. Allen to Sierra, so free ball for the Rebels. They need to try and capitalise. Diaz Infante one-on-one with Tomoy. Fredo Schofel had Lazard.
Massive swing from Diaz Infante, getting just as fired up as we saw her yesterday.
As Emily Priestley will check in for serving duties. Julia Haney into the front court, so we get the Haney-Lazard matchup. But again, it is slightly offset in set number 2 compared to set 1. As Priestley, Allen pulls McGovern off the court. She'll get it back for the pipe. Priestley on the dig. Haney blocked by Lazard, and Grace Lazard is absolutely causing havoc in the middle for Julia Haney.
She is everywhere, and she's massively up over the net. Look at how high up those arms are. You can see her hands pressing that ball down. No coverage on the Rebel side.
As Tomoy, Shamblin, Borovec off the antenna.
So smart. Yet again, we see Borovec coming in with something that nobody's expecting. This time just wiping off the block and straight into the antenna.
And Jefferson Williams going to talk it over at 21 points apiece. Diaz Infante on the serve line. She has been one of the people causing problems on serve receives. I wonder if they're just going to talk up a coverage. I can't think if that's first time out or second time out.
Should be first time out,
I think first time out the entire set, I think.
I think it is, yes. It's been pretty tight, so I don't think either of the coaches have wanted to break up the momentum just yet. There haven't been any, like, massive point runs. There were 3 for Eagles a few points ago, but
Essex had a 2-point lead. It got back to even. It's been a nip and tuck set. This is everything we wanted from the Mari Women's Super League final, Jess. You feel like the Rebels aren't completely out of it if they lose this set, but you think the slightly more pressure is on this side right now. As indeed it is. Looks like the second time out was given to Jefferson Williams, so he doesn't have any left in his back pocket. I suppose use them or lose them.
yeah, it's all up for that mental game, though.
McGovern, perfect pass by Sierra, and you could see what Malory were drawing up, and it was a Lazard fake to Chloe Allen, and Chloe Allen not going to make that mistake.
Nope, and absolutely sucking Haney in. She had no chance to get out there to get up the block on Chloe Allen.
And we said Essex going to serve around Sierra. We haven't called Sierra's name much in serve receive, but when she's required, perfect pass for the side out as Grace Lazard stays in the game. No serving sub for her. And a beautiful read by Simmons. 22 all, Chelsea Simmons on a dime.
That is so pitch perfect. In the States, they call that the campfire. Nobody wants to step into it.
I think people wanted to step in. I just think they realised far too late to get there. As Borovec into the net, 3-point for the Eagles, and sub coming for Malory. They're going to go with one of the better blocking middles. The joy of Jefferson Williams can leave Jaden Scott on the bench, and he'll go with Maria Orowan. 4 blocks in just 9 sets. Doesn't get in the game too often, but she's a blocking specialist. And on the overpass, she finishes. And Malory have 2 set points.
That was, it looked like a warm-up shot. How far was that from the net?
Not far.
Not even a whole meter, I don't think.
But what Essex Rebels serve receive unit has done so well. What a bad time for an overpass. Shamblin into the block, but I think they're going to call an error on I think it's outside the antenna is what the Rebels are arguing.
Yep.
There was definitely a net touch.
Yeah, but if it's outside of the
antenna, it's legal. The question is, but it's really hard to judge that from the angle. So the officials are getting together.
Yep.
Alex Chinnery is talking to Jefferson Williams, who is close to the net. Point given to Malory. And Malory takes set number 2, 25-22. But credit Jefferson Williams. What a time for a blocking substitution, and that paid off a dream.
Yes, what a start for Malory Eagles. They will be absolutely buzzing with the performance so far. And now Essex Rebels are going to be trying to figure out if they can do another one of these reverse sweeps.
Indeed, and before we do, Jess, we'll take a quick break, run some ads, and we'll get ready for set number 3. Welcome back to Crystal Palace. Yes, I had a look at the replay. We don't get a look at it until we go back onto YouTube. I think James in the chat probably right. Looks slightly outside into the guide rope area. So Essex probably a little bit right to feel harshly done by, but you know in these games there's a lot of calls that could go either way. We've seen it all weekend.
Yeah, really difficult one to say, especially from the angle. So the second referee is obviously on the far side of the net. The first referee is going to really struggle to see where that is because it's literally just below where she stood. Now, potentially could have been something that you asked for assistance from one of the line judges.
With neutral lines judges, maybe that's the way to go. But yeah, it's a slightly different scenarios. The sun is now starting to creep onto court, but great. Jess, what took your eye having a quick flip through the stats through set number 2?
I think the thing that stood out the most for me was Chloe Allen coming in with an insane 12 kills, double Grace Lazard, who's been absolutely dominant, although Grace with 5 blocks. Wow. And on the Rebel side, we've got the 2 outsides, each with 7 kills, so leading for their side.
But interesting, nothing for the second middle of the Rebels. Freddie Schofield-Tolley, haven't seen a lot of the ball as Borovec is denied. And Malory Eagles, this team doesn't know how to lose volleyball games this season, just one on the year. They're going to try and turn up the heat right now and try and get this game closed out. As Shamblin does well to adjust, got crossed up a little bit. Diaz Infante blocked by Lazard and Tamoy.
Okay, Lazard blocking party, that's up to 7 now.
As Borovec goes for the tip into Batiste. That ball's going to trickle over the net for Tamoy. Back set, Batiste off the hands of the block. Weldon far too deep to get to it. And Essex Rebels need a response right now. Alex Chinnery sat down in front of us. He's got to be thinking about burning a timeout. You don't need this to go the way set 2 did yesterday.
Yeah, definitely not. Although Weldon with some really great block coverage there. Just need to convert that into a point.
Borovec tip, well picked up by Georgia McGovern. Batiste into the block for the recycle. Batiste takes it off her middle, and it's a lovely high ball way up in the sky. Borovec lines it up. Boyce gets a hand to it. Chloe Allen can't quite get there, but not for the lack of trying.
What a swing from Borovic there, going for that deep corner. Catching Boyce out. As we can just see the sun start to creep onto the
If
back.
it stays there, we're good.
Yes.
No one's standing there to be blinded. If it gets a little bit more, I do know both teams have sunglasses on the bench, and it's been confirmed they can use them if required. Welcome to beach season a month early. As Grace Lazard, again, she's having a way with Julia Haney today. Lazard, really effective for Mallory through the middle.
It looks to be the Lazard party, both on attacks and blocks.
And I think it's an Ari Sierra party in the crowd as well. Not quite sure what she's done to get the love, but probably to play all season longer is a really nice little tip again into the back corner. Seeing both teams adjust their shot types and angles really well today, Jess.
Yeah, plenty of change going on. No two shots are the same. Really trying to find those open spaces.
As Alex Chinnery talking to his bench. Tamoy pulls McGovern way off the line. She'll get it back only to the hands of Taya Shamblin, who again has been terrific defensively. And Diaz Infante just mistimes it over the baseline.
Yeah, difficult ball. She wanted to be able to come forward at that one. Had to take a short two-step approach.
Shamblin going to push it out to Borovec, who's got the hot hand off the block touch for Leah Borovec.
This is some top-tier volleyball IQ from Borovec. Taking herself back to serve. Really smart playing here.
She'll go back to serve. Tamoy again, who's held up really well in serve receive. Kick save by Shamblin, but slight problem. Ball going towards your own baseline on block 2. Everyone else is moving forward. And the Rebels can't track it down. But again, the willingness of this Essex team to keep the ball alive. And we know this Rebels team aren't going to give up easily. We saw that yesterday. Never say die attitude as Weldon does well to get there. Shamblin into the block of Boyce and McGovern. McGovern's going to go with the lefty tip. Simmons, Haney, that's better from the Rebels. Julia Haney being quiet, gets one to go.
Exactly what they needed. They took advantage of the chaos on the Malory side. You can see that Boyce wasn't set back because she was so far outside of McGovern, struggling to get back to block for Haney.
Tamoy, McGovern tight to the tape, and they're going to call a net touch on McGovern on the way down.
Yeah. But that's a good call. Really difficult to keep yourself out of the net when you've got something that's so tight. Tamoy doing a really great job here in service reception. She's been so solid today.
As Julia Haney. Allen going to get it back off the serve receive into the block. Freda Schofel, one touch, but can't touch it twice. You could see she desperately wanted to play that a second time, but Diaz Infante couldn't get there to help her middle.
Yeah, really difficult ball. Schofel doing a good job to try and get that ball up.
Simmons makes the call, but doesn't matter as Shamblin misplays it. Saskia Freda Schofel onto the 3-meter line, the other side of the net. Respecting the play, but couldn't track it down.
Rare service reception error here from Shamblin. She's been quite solid today. Is this going to be the start of the Rebels serve receive breaking down?
Borovic misses the baseline. Tip is called from the back judge. And Tara King into the game, replacing Alexis Diaz-Infante.
Yeah, so Diaz-Infante being such a solid part of the offense yesterday, but not quite firing the way that they need her to today. So King just coming in to shore up the front court offense here.
But I know that Tara King's had a couple of big games there late down the stretch. As Weldon.
That's very tight.
That ball over the net or on top of the net? Referee says on top, legal for Chloe Allen.
I said very tight. Ref says over. So overpass kill for Chloe Allen, who will be head back to serve now. That one left just outside.
Tara King, 4th Super League game of the season, but hitting a crazy 476. 22 kills on 42 attempts. Sierra calls for it. McGovern off the perfect pass. Batiste can only find Chelsea Simmons, so Weldon steps inside. Roll shot by King, nearly finds the floor. As Tamoy is rejected, and they're going to call a net touch on Freda Schofield, I believe it was.
That is a massive let off after a huge block from her, but just clipping the bottom of the net as she's coming back down from that. Rebels just have a small bit of confusion about which serve receive rotation they're in, but they've sorted themselves out now.
Might have been called on Tara King. Can't quite tell from here. Borovic goes for the adjustment. Trying to force it down the line into the block and gets the kill.
That consistency from Borovic just continues. I don't think she's had a hard swing at the ball in the last set and a half, but she is taking it around and putting it down wherever she can.
As Batiste into the block of Haney and Borovic, and Haney, second kill in set 3. The Rebels need her to get going if they want to try and claw their way back. We know they can reverse sweep. Saw it just over 24 hours ago now. In the semi-final, coming back to beat team side out Polonia, who did win the bronze medal earlier today against Lionhearts Veneris in the 5-set game.
Freda Schofield not quite making the impact that Coach Alex Chenery will want her to have made so far. She's had a number of errors and no kills as yet.
As Shamblin, Simmons, Haney has to wait on it, so can't put a proper swing more than a tip. That was an attempted slide, not executed well. Borovic, right hand, outside scoop. It's neither team really able to put a proper swing on it. Haney will, but gets shut down by Grace Lazard.
Right, so Lazard's been quiet the last few points. She started out this set really strong, and then she's just reminding the Essex Rebels, hey, I'm right here, putting this ball down.
And that will see Haney subbed out the game. Kat Tolley in, back in.
Just trying to change things up. Are we going to see another one of these stack plays from the Rebels here soon?
We need a good pass to do that. That one a little bit too far off to run multiple systems. Borovic to McGovern on 2. Borovic has to wait on it. Finds Sierra, another pinpoint pass. Allen from the pipe. Great defense, Chelsea Simmons. Borovic going to give up the free ball. Batiste in Sierra's way. Had to play it. Tamoy into the block and gets rejected by Tara King.
What?
Tara King with a huge momentum play for the Rebels.
Huge play here, but I'm going to say all of that was precipitated by that really smart, really short free ball from Borovic. She just tried to put it between where the middle and the setter were crossing each other to get into position for that free ball.
4th block for King. And that was serve 33, and that one resulted in error number 4. And the Rebels just giving away a couple of cheap ones that you can't really afford to do if you want to get into this match. As we see some of the men starting to head up towards the practice court. As Simmons one-handed. Ari Sierra wanted the lift, didn't get it, but Chloe Allen tips it over the block.
Smart again from Chloe Allen. We had started to see Rebels get themselves back into this set, but Malory just pulling away yet again.
We cannot repeat what is being sung about Ari Sierra, but it is love and support. As Tolly, who hasn't seen many balls in the front court, gets an opportunity, and a huge swing by Kath Tolly.
You can see Lazard so close to the outside hitter because Shamblin's gotten so many sets. She was absolutely convinced the ball was not going to the middle.
Well, perfect time to set it. Tolly hitting 350 on the season as McGovern goes to her middle. Lazard, huge block touch by Kath Tolly. Shamblin puts a big aggressive swing on it. Beats Tamoy. Jeff is mad that there's no block up by the Eagles.
Yeah, it is an out-of-system play, but you've seen really strong attacks from these Rebels offense on those out-of-system balls. Why would you not put a block up, try and take advantage of the fact that that ball is not going to be high over the tape?
And Jeff's angry enough to use timeout number 1 of set 3. Malory 11 points away from the title potentially, but the Rebels are not going down easily.
Yeah, really great comeback from the Rebels. They fought quite hard over the last few points to come back into things. Down 3 points. They've closed it to 2.
And I think the thing is they slowed up the Malory attack just a little bit. Only 6 kills so far in the set for Malory, whereas they had 29 on the board through the first 2. So you can see Alex Chinnery giving words of wisdom. Going to take a bit extra of time.
I'm interested to see what's going to happen here because they've had
Might
a longer
be a delay
huddle.
of game.
Yes, they've had a longer
He's
huddle at
saying
the
he
start
can't
of
hear the
each
whistle. I think that's a move to avoid a warning and a yellow card. I don't think that's the truth.
Interesting. Interesting.
Because Malory heard it. But Leia Borovec, Tamoy took it away from Sierra. Lazard stuffed by Kath Tolly. Kath Tolly almost has a look of surprise on her face.
What an impact substitution. Tully comes on, has 1 kill and 1 block against the who we thought was unstoppable Grace Lazard. She has been on fire. I can see somebody from the Simmons family suggesting that there's going to be a reverse sweep here.
And McGovern was looking for the tip. Little bit of an overpass by Ari Sierra. And all of a sudden we are 14 apiece. Set number 3 in what's been a fascinating Mari Women's Super League Grand Final. Medals at stake as Allen goes tip. Shamblin with an incredible pickup. Sierra, right place once again. And Allen this time beats Simmons on the one-on-one.
So Allen has been absolutely crushing the Rebels defense on that really short tip. Shamblin making that adjustment. Beautiful pickup. But then coming back and at the second time of asking, going for a really tough blockout kill.
As Grace Lazard back on the service line. Borovec a little bit short. Simmons to a knee again. Shamblin running in, has to tip. Boyce wants it, goes to Allen. Touch by Simmons. Kills the ball in front of Tara King and the covering Taya Shamblin. And Malory, as they've done all game long, just every time Rebels, you feel like they're starting to get a foothold in the game, they respond with 2 or 3 quick points, and that's a testament to how well this Eagles team is playing today. It's almost flawless volleyball.
Yes, it really is. They've had very few errors.
Borovec, Simmons with the dump. Well read by Allen. McGovern back to Allen. Shamblin, huge swing.
You can hear the shouts and screams from the Rebels on the court and on the bench. Super fired up by that really heavy swing from Shamblin. Massive gap in that block between Boyce and McGovern.
as Kath Tolley clears the net, but Sierra, perfect pass. Boyce on the slide, dug up. She'll get it back. Freda Schofel, Sierra with a ridiculous pickup. We saw one from Shamblin a minute ago. Shamblin to Moy. Sierra's going to try and set Allen. She gets a decent swing on it. Kath Tolley and Borovic combining, and the ball misses the line. Shamblin thought she found the outside of the line, but no real complaints apart from Shamblin.
So Shamblin just turning around to Chenery there and saying, I can hear the touch on the block, but the line judge not calling it.
Interesting. Good pickup as McGovern. Shamblin gets it back, goes tip over the gap. It was a controlled, it wasn't a straight tip either, it was like a little diagonal tip.
Yep.
And that's really hard to pick up.
She can see that Allen was coming in to block that ball. Sorry, Batiste is coming in to block that ball. So there's a double block up, which means that position number 4 was much more open for them.
Tamoy. McGovern scrambling, but able to get a good set. Batiste finds Weldon. Both liberos done a really good job today. That one misses the baseline. Rare error by Leia Borovic.
Yes, she has been so consistent. Slightly more of a swing that time, but that was a really great defensive effort by Weldon.
It's a service error by Chloe Allen into the net. And Taya Shamblin, who defensively has been almost perfect on the day, finds Tamoy. Another great pass from the Malory outside. Batiste tips. Only one option in the system. Tamoy going to scramble to get there. Batiste under it. Weldon with the one-handed stuff, and Taya Shamblin sending our MC Stan flying. He was worried for his own life. He had a table and 2 advertising boards in the way, but again, terrific hustle by both sets of players as Claire Kellum will come in as a serving sub for Steph Boyce. Jefferson Williams telling her, get out the sunlight, go to the other side of the court for the serve. Kellum goes line, Shamblin plays it well. Miss set, Weldon stays legal just about, but the problem is she pops the ball skywards, not very far over the net, and Grace Lazard says, thank you kindly, I'll have another one on my total.
And that puts Malory Eagles within that 5 points of winning.
Shamblin. Back set, Freda Schofel, one-handed push on the slide. Pancake by Simmons, Weldon off her knees, terrific defense as Tara King gets shut down, and the Malory bench is erupting.
As is the crowd over there, especially the Malory men.
Shamblin, can the Rebels stay alive? This team has a bunch of fight. We've seen that all season long. Lazard, Simmons, Weldon with a great set for Borovic. Grace Lazard over the net, somehow didn't touch it. Block touch by Borovic, wanted it back, but it's going to go to Tara King, and she misconnects. And Alexis Diaz-Infantes back into the game.
Eagles only 3 points away from a gold medal here today.
Simmons, Borovic, not going to go down without a fight. Weldon trying to fire up her team. Alex Chinnery looking like he wanted something on his bench. It's going to be Emily Priestley as a serving sub for Saskia Freda Schofel.
Is this defensive as well? Just to put a little bit of extra.
Well, server and a defender in the back row, of course. It'll be, obviously Priestley won't need to stay on, but if she can win a couple of service points, Got a little bit more movement in that back row, but the problem is she makes an error, and it's rare from Emily Priestley. Just error number 2 on the season.
Wow.
And Malory are 2 points away from breaking the streak. They've been dying for a championship. They are 2 points away. As the Malory men starting to fire up. Sierra, perfect dig. Crowd erupts. Lazard wins the point.
Wow.
And Malory are 6 match points from a title.
And you can see just how fired up they are. But that dig from Ari Sierra, wow. That is top tier stuff.
Match point, Malory Eagles, Chamberlain, Simmons, huge run by Chelsea Simmons to stay in it. Borovic beats Lazard. Match point, 1 save by the Rebels.
I don't know what kind of magic that was for that ball to even make it across the tape of the net.
Chelsea Simmons, that's a huge run down late in the game. You played a 5-setter yesterday, Chelsea, and it shows the heart and the desire of the Rebels team. They've obviously got a Bucks championship. You could see how much yesterday meant. They wanted gold, but silver's still going to be an outcome they're okay with. You always want the best. Tamoy for the championship.
Massive swing from Tamoy to close it out, and you can see the Malory Eagles so pleased with themselves to come in and win gold after all the work they put in. The boys are coming out to congratulate them as well. Malory Eagles will be pleased to be taking home 2 sets of silverware from today's matches. And Spiky getting involved.
Wait, hold on. Is this the dance-off we wanted? Spiky and Carol Gordon. Huge hug by Jojo Cruz. Lifts Ari Sierra up off the ground. Saskia Freda-Schopel tears in front of us. She knows that might be her last game in a Rebels uniform. But Jess, obviously, all the plaudits are going to go to Malory. That was textbook volleyball. 3 dominant sets.
So dominant. And it really shows in the stats. I mean, Chloe Allen with 17 kills. That's massive. But the real standout for me is the number of blocks. Malory putting down 12 blocks across those 3 sets. They will be so pleased with themselves to have closed that out in 3. Not letting Essex push them beyond that. The teams are just going to go and shake hands after the match. Spike, has decided he's part of the Malory Eagles squad now.
Well, he wants a gold medal, clearly.
Clearly.
Now, as the team's meeting at the net. A lot of rivalry between the 2 sides, but also a lot of love.
Yeah, some upset faces here on the Rebels side, but they did themselves justice today. I know they lost in 3 sets, but Leia Borovic coming in clutch with 14 kills for her side. So many really smart plays. Taya Shamblin as well, 10 kills and had 5 blocks. So I said that there were 12 for Malory. So
And
big difference.
Alex Tinnery with a lot of time with Carol Gordon and the Malory coaching staff. I caught up with him earlier, and he's, as much as Alex Porter's been a huge mentor for him, and he talks so much highly about him, he got a lot of love and respect for the Malory coaching staff as well. And obviously it's been a long time coming, a title for the Eagles, Jess.
Yeah.
But they have been the dominant team this season in the Super League. The 1 loss, but they're not going to settle for it. They've got a National Cup final in 3 weeks.
Yes, exactly. Sorry, they were doing some fake champagne over on the Malory Eagles side. So excited here. But yeah, can't talk about the performance of the Malory Eagles too much without saying that we were so right to call out Ari Sierra as our one to watch for this match. She made some world-class digs. And just joining her as well, because obviously they're not going to target Ari in the service reception. We have to give a call out, to Chika Tamoy, who was so solid in that service reception. but massive performance from all the ways, and really smart and really effective substitutions on the Malory side. Ladies coming in and making an immediate impact. We saw it earlier when Oyuane came in with an immediate overpass kill.
Yeah, blocking, and that's the thing. The Malory, it was textbook today. Everything that Jefferson Williams and Carol Gordon and Ian Legrand tried came off. The blocking sub for a couple of quick points. Service change with Kellum was really good. As we've got Carol Gordon on the way up to join us. And then we'll get to our medal presentation. And then the MVP decision. Jess, that's not an easy one. That was textbook by Malory.
Yes, so many good plays, which is insane to say that when you have a few players with nearly 20 points each, that you're having a hard time picking out the players from between one another. But we have made a decision.
As we'll give that a minute, and we'll bring in one of the winning staff for the Malory Eagles. She's coming to join us in the commentary box before we get to our presentation party. Just bear with us a second as we get the camera sorted. And we're delighted to welcome Carol Gordon up to the booth. Carol, I know we were talking in the weeks building up to this how much this would mean. Now you've done it, just talk through your emotions.
It's going to be a difficult one because I'm losing my voice.
That's 2 good days of volleyball for you.
Yeah. For me, this group of girls, we said it, it's not just the girls that have come in and done their scholarship straight away. The likes of Sophie Sisko, the likes of Steph, who've carried us through with the English side of things. And Grace. Grace has finally felt comfortable to come back into the middle after her ACL injury. And when you see them develop and grow through a season, they've had a lot of 5-setters. They've won those 5-setters, but it's been hard. And it was a pleasure to have Essex in this final because they've been our arch enemy, but also our good friends in terms of we know we have to pull our punches.
Indeed, and we'll get you down in quick. Carol, we've got to talk about the performance. Was that as good as volleyball as you've seen this group play?
It's not the best that they've played, but that's the thing about this group. They don't care whether it's ugly volleyball. They get the job done. It's business as usual. You have to make sure that you can't always think about, well, we want to run our offense this way. We want to block this way. If it doesn't happen, find another solution. We have to empower these players to make their own decisions, but also to find the solutions because they're not all out there. They have to be creative. And again, Georgia, the playmaker, makes everything so easy for our hitters in many ways because she tells them, this is what we're doing. You have to finish the job.
Cool. Well, Carol, we're going to get the presentation started. We'll go let you celebrate. I know you've got a dance left in you, but congratulations.
I think I've got one more dance left. Thank you, and thanks to the commentary team. Thanks to everybody for the volunteers. What a great event. Thank you.
As we get Jess back on the headset, and Jess, we'll talk about Malory in a second. But we need to talk about this Essex Rebel team. Alex Chinnery told me before the game he wanted a good performance to close this group up. They obviously have the Bucks Championship, and you can't say they played badly today.
No, you definitely can't. I mean, Leah Borvik, mentioned her previously, absolutely flying in. 14 kills, 1 block. Massive performance from her today. Taya Shamblin as well, firing with 10 kills herself and 1 service ace. What we didn't see today that we saw yesterday is Diaz Infante firing on all cylinders, coming in at only 5 kills, but she did have 1 block and 1 ace today, so still made an impact, just not quite the level that she wanted to.
Yeah, as the Essex Rebels getting handed their medals. We'll start obviously with the captain, Chelsea Simmons, sensational season for Chelsea Simmons. Big game on the service line as well. She's obviously joined by Madoka Weldon, Zaire Garrett, Latea Brunat, Emily Priestley, Leah Borovec, who we've got to talk about, Jess. She was terrific today. Obviously, had some ups and downs throughout the season, but Borovec really strong. And we'll try and get those final estimated figures for you. Saskia Freda-Schofel, Julia Haney, who had a terrific season in the middle, Tara King, Kat Tolley, and she's with Taya Shamblin, Molly Lawrence, Alexis Diaz-Infante, and Ruben Over, the backup libero. And of course the Essex coaching staff for the Rebels. Alex Chinnery assisted with Tristan Lane, Benjamin Merritt, and Leela Whitaker and Kate Ferranda on the game. And Leah Borek, final total 14 kills for Borek, 10 for Shamlin. The two outsides had a really strong game, and they'll take some confidence going into the beach season as well. But a great season for the Rebels as we welcome our officials up to the floor as well. But for the Rebels, obviously that Bucks Championship to fall upon. I think Alex Chinnery, before the weekend, you always want to win the gold medal game, but getting to the gold medal game was the big challenge, and this team fought so hard, and you could see it today. Even they weren't giving up, even the loose balls, the run down by Simmons that nearly sent the IMC stand flying, and that's a credit to what they've built culture-wise in Essex.
Yeah, you can definitely see the culture that the coaching staff has built, led by Alex Chinnery, as you mentioned. The ladies never, ever just giving up on the ball, always prepared to put everything out on the court.
As the gold medalists are getting their awards, starting with the captain, number 4, Chloe Allen. Huge game for Allen, 17 kills. Number 3, Ari Sierra. What a performance from the libero. You could hear the crowd chanting her name.
Some incredible digs from her.
Number 1, Steph Boyce. Number 2, Selena Batiste, who's done a great job in that transition to outside. Number 5 is Grace Lazard. Huge game out the middle for Grace Lazard. 9 blocks, but 9 kills against one of the best middles in the country this season, in Julia Haney in particular.
Yes.
Number 6, Jaden Scott didn't get on court this year, but has been a huge impact for Mallory. Number 8, Maria Orowan. Number 10, Sophie Cisco. Carol talked about the likes of Sophie. Long time with the club, done a lot, played 3 different positions this year, including libero. Number 11, Claire Kellum, her rookie season. Number 12, Jojo Cruz. Number 13, Chica Tamoy, who was excellent in serve receive today. Really held up the unit that Essex were trying to go after her. Number 14, Michelle Daniel. Number 17, Georgia McGovern. And number 19, Paddy Coe. And then the rest of the Mallory staff. Sophia down there with Andrew Oranshemi, Ian Legrand, Jefferson Williams, and Carol Gordon. How nice is it to see Carol Gordon getting the medal round the neck? She's been such a stalwart on the women's side for a long time.
Yeah, so pleased for her, and so pleased for the Eagles as well, because really you can see all of the work that they put in. We saw them in the opening weekend. We've seen what they've done across the season, and then they've come out today and made the performance that they wanted to make.
Mallory celebrate the title before they've jumped the gun though. Spike tried to get them encouraged. We've got two more awards to go before the main trophy. We've got the MVP, and it's an easy decision, Jess. Amongst the team, great performances. It's going to number 5. It's going to the middle. Grace Lazard, 9 blocks, 9 kills. A special, special performance.
An absolutely epic performance. Yesterday, she was our one to watch in the semifinal, and she put out a good performance, but not quite to the level that we would have expected from her. Today, she put on the Grace Lazard show.
Hitting 380 coming into the game. 50 total kills. 44 digs. She had a 10 dig game a couple of weeks ago at the middle, which is ridiculously insane. And now Chloe Allen, she's been waiting for this one a long time. She is going to be asked to go get the Mari Women's Super League trophy. Durham Palatinate won it last year, but after a 19-1 season, the Malory Eagles, dropping just 13 sets, are your Super League champion. As the Eagles react, the Eagle goes flying into the middle, flying in the air. Good hands by Jojo Cruz. You can't.
What a performance from the ladies. Honestly, I can't say anything negative about it. Had some great digs, some beautiful service reception. Absolutely everywhere. Everybody putting everything on the line. And a very well-deserved gold medal win for the Malory Eagles.
Some of the Rebels stopping to share a moment just off to your right. A lot of hugs and love. We know it's the last time this group's going to be together. And we will get the Malory huddle as well.
Yeah, it's really tough in the moment because you feel like you've just lost, but actually you've just won a silver medal. Really beautiful performance, great season from the Rebels. And I'm sure that the culture that they built will continue as things go, and we'll continue to see them performing quite well in the Super League next year.
As obviously, stay with us. We've got the men's final to come up. The Essex Rebels men will get a chance to turn that silver that women have just won into a gold medal. They will take on the hometown London Giants. That one coming up in about 45 minutes time, roughly. I believe we might even be back on schedule, Jess. Look at this.
That's impressive. Is it going to close out today with a 5-set match to...
As we try and pull some people up to get some post-game reaction. Stay with us. Obviously, we'll get Malory Eagles women to have a moment. But Jess, while I've got you here, it's your last game of the weekend. Just talk about the Malory Women's Super League as a whole this year, how competitive it's been. Teams going down. We obviously know we've got a team coming up in Newcastle next year. We've had a tremendous season, but what a season for women's volleyball.
Yes, massive season for women's volleyball. And we've seen the growth that every single team has put out on the court since the opening weekend way back in October. It's crazy to think that it's been less than 6 full months since we've gotten here, but the ladies just continue to grow, continue to outperform themselves and push themselves to be better every single day. We're going to have a full-on team photo here with both the men and women for the Malory Eagles.
I feel bad. I think our MVP, Grace Lazard's missing the photo.
Oh.
As Rebels are collecting their own as well. Sane Hoffman, one of the Rebel staff, running around the baseline, trying to make sure she's got the right angle, because if not, it's one you hear about for a while.
Yes, definitely.
As Grace Lazard getting stopped on the way up, not surprisingly after that performance. And she'll head round to get post-game reaction. And stay with us as Grace comes round, as both teams celebrating now. First time, little bit of love, and obviously a big signal for the Rebels. It's been a tough year off the court as well, losing Tara Whitehead and, of course, the 4 students tragically involved in that car crash. For that team to go through the emotional toll they've done through, they've been a credit to the organisation. I know Director of Sport Dave Parry's up here as well. As Jess will just bring off the headset and we'll bring in Grace Lazard to the comms booth. And welcome back to the commentary position. We've got the Malory Eagles dancing below us, and we've got our MVP, Grace Lazard, up here. Grace, 9 kills, 9 blocks on our unofficial stats. You've got the gold medal you were wanting all season. Just talk about the emotions.
Honestly, the emotions are super high right now. I couldn't ask for a better result. I couldn't ask for a better team to have this moment with. Look at them. They're out on the floor just, and it's been like this all season. So, honestly, I'm out of words. I'm incredibly happy, incredibly proud of my team. Oh.
Everyone joining in as well.
Let's go.
But Grace, obviously you knew today was going to be a big battle. Julia Haney missed the game late in the month of March. You knew that was a tough assignment. Just talk about the confidence and the game plan going in that allowed you to go execute today.
It's all about just giving our best no matter who we're playing. Every single game, every single win we kept racking up meant that the next game is going to be just as important. Everybody knew what the assignment was. Everybody has the talent. Everybody has the skill to be here. The fact that we're, all united on one team this season, it's just brought the best out of each and every single player on this team.
And obviously, we can talk about your teammates all day long, but how good a team performance was it today? It felt like everyone that was on the court, no matter if it was a serving sub, a V came in with a block and an overpass kill, but did it feel like your best volleyball at the right time of the season?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And again, our bench is just as strong. That's what makes our team so powerful, so unique. Our bench being just as strong as our starting six. V came in, monster block instantly, did exactly what she needed to do, understood the assignment, and ticked it.
Indeed, and obviously we've got to talk about your coaching staff. I know you spent a lot of time with them. Sometimes you've got moments where they drive you up the wall, but you've got a lot of love for Carol, Ian, and Jeff, and Andrew as well. And how much have they helped you that transition? Carol talked about it up here before you came up in terms of that transition back into the middle, obviously off after your injuries. We got a little guest as well.
Yeah, no, honestly, their tenacity, again, they had been up late last night, and here they are again in the morning, bringing us through to the final. Without them, we honestly couldn't be the team we are. They've stuck it out season after season. Jeff has just been awesome, always just, giving his best to us. That's what he does. He shows up every single day, and he gives our best to us. So, yeah, couldn't ask for a better coaching staff. I love Carol. She is the heart of the team, her character, her personality. What would we do without her? Ian,
well,
Andrew.
You definitely wouldn't have as many dance parties.
Oh, tell me about it.
And I don't know if you caught it, we even caught Jefferson dancing in the men's game earlier, which, that's maybe the biggest win of the season.
There we go.
And obviously, as the sunglasses come out, Ari and Chloe having some fun playing defense on an imaginary defense. I know this group isn't content. We talked about it in the build-up in training when I visited early in the week. As they disappear with the sunglasses, you guys will get to see that at home ever so briefly. Chloe Allen having fun. But there's one more game to go, right? You've got, I assume, a little bit of time off this week, and then you re-go again. Team side out in the cup final. How important is it for this group not to rest now and go complete the double?
It's been a long weekend. We were hoping for the same result for our guys. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out that way. We are very much, we're trying our best to not let it, hinder our mindset. We are one as a team, and that includes the men. And so, again, I just think that as we go into the next weekend, both teams will just be continuing to do what we do, and that is staying positive, staying relentless, not giving up, and we'll get the same result. I just feel really bad for the men's team. An apology would be amazing. But just like I said, we'll always work hard. We're Team Malory, and watch out, whoever we're coming for.
And I suppose you brought a little guest up to the booth. You ran straight over to him after the game. How much does it mean to have him in the finals at home in London as well?
Oh, honestly, this is probably the first time that I've had so much love, so much support. I've traveled the world with this sport, and it's allowed me to meet and play with incredible people, and having to be able to do this here at home is just that extra special.
Well, Grace, we'll get you go logo. I'm sure there's other people look to go, but we'll let you go. But you are the MVP. You are the Malory Women's Super League champion. Congratulations on a great season, and we'll see you in Kettering in 3 weeks.
Sounds good.
There's the thoughts of your MVP, Grace Stars. We're going to take a break here. Join us in a minute. Dynamic Men's Super League final. London Giants and Essex Rebels on deck.